They're supposed to connect math to life. They're supposed to stretch students' thinking. But too often, they're stale, artificial, or worse, copied and pasted from a textbook or solved instantly by AI. So, what's the move? We flip the script. We stop giving students word problems and start having them engineer them. In this episode, we're going to show you how to build assignments where students use AI to generate authentic, connected word problems while still being challenged to explain, analyze, and solve them with conceptual clarity. So let's dig in. Number one, shift the role. Students are now the creators, not just the solvers. Start by asking, where do you see this concept show up in real life? What kind of job, hobby, or problem in your world uses this? Can you imagine a story where someone has to use this math to make a decision? Then let students use AI to co-create a word problem. Write a word problem about linear functions involving music streaming revenue is a prompt. Create a trigonometric scenario about building a skateboard ramp. Generate a geometry problem involving designing a garden. But here's the catch. They don't just copy the prompt, they revise it, they personalize it, and they challenge it. Number two, require a prompt log and reflection. Ask students, what did you ask the AI and why? How did you revise the problem it gave you? What math concept is this testing? And how do you know? They're not just creating a word problem, they're analyzing the quality and intention of the prompt. They're learning to engineer math scenarios and not just consume them. Number three, make conceptual clarity the focus. Students must identify what math concept is being assessed, explain why that concept is relevant to the story, annotate which parts of the scenario map to which parts of the equation or solution process. Use this prompt. Explain how the details in the story connect to the variables, numbers, or operations in your math model. This forces students to show conceptual understanding and not just procedural steps. Number four, challenge them to iterate. After solving the problem, ask them, how could you increase the difficulty? What happens if the numbers change? Can you write a second version of the story that requires a different strategy or math concept? AI can support each variation, but the student controls the creativity. You're training them to think like a designer and not a test taker. Number five, introduce judgment tasks. Sample activities can include use AI to generate 3-word problems based on the same concept. Rank them from easiest to hardest and explain your ranking. Revise the weakest one to make it stronger. Now we've laid in critical thinking, comparison, and improvement. And AI helps get things started, but students have to justify and refine. Number six, embed narrative elements that promote empathy and connection. Encourage students to create problems that involve characters that they care about, reflect challenges from their community or background, require decisions and not just calculations. You can ask them, what's at stake in your word problem? Why does solving this matter in the story? You're now connecting math to identity, relevance, and values. Number seven, use cross-disciplinary prompts. Invite word problems that intersect with subjects such as science, with topics like velocity, data, analysis, and growth. In social studies, looking at population change, economic modeling. In art, looking at proportions, symmetry, scaling. And you can use a prompt like this. Use AI to write a word problem about climate change that involves exponential functions. You're helping students see math as a language for life and not just a set of steps. Number eight, build a rubric that scores the story as much as the solution. And examples of that looks like 25% can go towards real world relevance and creativity. 25% can go to accuracy and complexity of the math. 25% can go to clarity of conceptual explanation. 25% can go to prompting, revision, and reflection. This makes the thinking count just as much as the answer. We're not trying to stop students from using AI. We're trying to teach them how to think better because of it. When students create word problems with AI, they're not cheating, they're constructing. When they reflect, critique, revise, and solve, they're engaging in authentic mathematical thinking. AI is the scaffolding, but the student is still the architect. And when we make space for them to build math stories that matter, we create learning that lasts. Let's stop solving someone else's word problems and let's start creating our own.